Okay, today we'll be looking at the class test. Alright, so please listen out and please look through the answer key together as I actually go through this question with you. Alright, so to begin, let's look at extract 1. Alright, very importantly, because it's a case study, you need to really break the extract down so as to suss out the important points from the extract. Try to make reference to it in your answer. Okay, so we look at extract 1. Alright, worries of global deflation, slow economic growth are increasing. So deflation, okay, is just the opposite of inflation. So general price level, sustain decrease in your general price level. Alright, slow economic growth. Please take note that there is still positive economic growth, just that it is at a slower rate. Okay, so slow economic growth, falling consumer prices, and other signs highlight a concern among your monetary policymaker and market watchers that the risk of deflation is in the world's economy is increasing. Prices are expected to fall far enough, and it could spiral into worldwide recession. So what exactly is deflation? Deflation is when your general price level, you see a sustained fall in your general price level. On the surface, it may look like a good thing, but if you examine it deeper, alright, why are general price level falling? Alright, although consumers' money stretch further when prices fall, profits of businesses erode, which tends to cause high rates of unemployment, thereby reducing consumer spending. So there's the uncertainty that comes about, alright, when you have deflation. So it may not necessarily be a good thing, because in terms of consumer sentiments, in terms of investor sentiments, it will be affected by this fear of this deflation happening over a prolonged period, just like what we see in Japan. Alright, so because of what we see here, alright, as you can see, though money stretches further, as you can buy, purchasing power has increased because right now it's cheaper. Alright, however, profits erode because high rates of unemployment. All this reduce your consumer spending. They rather spend less in the present. Okay, meaning that they conserve their consumption for the future. Alright, further weakening this demand and dragging down your prices further. So it becomes a cycle, a vicious cycle. Because if I don't consume now, I wait until next time then I consume. At this point in time, AD is likely to see a fall. Alright, and you see national income being negatively affected. So this becomes a very huge concern. Alright. Next, we are presented with some data, some statistics. Alright, growth rate, real GDP per capita, inflation, current account balance, as well as unemployment. So this is China across the year of 2017 to 2013. And then in extract 2, alright, we see President Xi remarked that China's current model of economic development is unbalanced, uncoordinated. Alright, this current model is unbalanced, uncoordinated, and unsustainable. So what China has been depending on a lot is this export-led growth. So that means that their growth has been largely driven by their trade, their exports. They have been producing a lot of goods and services that they sell to other countries. Alright, is this going to be sustainable? It's a huge concern because, as you know, national income fall because of the worldwide recession. When national income fall, it will affect the demand for these exports and thus negatively affecting China. Alright, so China's government, alright, they want to make China an innovative country, promote more efficient, equal and sustainable economic development. Alright, and this is meant to help them in their future planning. Alright, especially in a world that is increasingly natural resource constrained. So we talk about sustainable economic growth. Can this growth model be sustained? That's another issue here. Alright, can it be sustainable? Sorry, not sustained. Alright, and China has shown the world how quickly it can change. GDP grew at around 10% per year on average, hundreds of millions of people, urbanization happening. All this has helped to improve the lives of these Chinese citizens. But how much of it actually is spread across is not very equal, as you can see here. And this comes at a great cost to China. And in future, they are expected to see even more threats. Alright, natural resource pressures are already acute. Pollution of air, etc. They are all taking a toll on the health and well-being. Alright, China also see great opportunities, potential to develop high value, high technology and services industry to leave hundreds of million people out through this urbanization and employment. So you can see that, China has both potential as well as threats. So how do they make use of this fine balance between the both of them? Alright, so it's a short extract that we have. Now we move to the questions. Alright, and if we look at first question, definition, please. When you're asked to define, I believe I have stressed the importance of definitions. Make sure when we talk about real GDP per capita, you tell us total market value or monetary value. Okay, after adjusting for inflation. Keywords. Okay, final goods and services produced in a given country. Given time period, usually a year, divided by the total population size. Alright, this is very straightforward. You can't go wrong, okay, because the definition, what we have in the notes are what you basically need to give us. Alright, next question, economic performance. When we look at economic performance, we compare it to our 4 macro goals. Alright, so in order for us to assess, we need to look at these economic indicators, allowing us to judge whether the performance has improved or deteriorated. So goal number 1, sustainable economic growth. So we look at the growth rate. Alright, has the growth rate actually changed? Remember, this question is 2013 compared to 2007. Some of you actually gave throughout 2007 to 2013. That's incorrect. Question is 2007 versus 2013. So you can see that in both 2007 and 2013, GDP growth has been positive. But one difference is the value of it. Okay, in 2007 it was much higher. Okay, at 14%. Alright, whereas in 2013 it's 8%. So slower economic growth, it can indicate weaker economic performance, but you can also talk about how this fall in the growth rate is actually something that's positive because we are talking about sustainable economic growth. We don't expect an economy to have a sustainable economic growth rate of maybe 14%. It's really too much. So having it at 8%, slightly lower, but definitely more manageable. Okay, so that's why it's more positive. So this one we left it open. We can accept whether you say weaker or better. Second goal, price stability. We look at the inflation rate and it has became slower. Alright, because it increased at a slower rate. So this definitely reflects better economic performance. Employment, if you look at employment, unemployment rate was higher in 2013 compared to 2007. So this could indicate weaker performance, although it's a small amount, 1% difference. Balance of payment position, we look at the current account position. So we can see that current account surplus was lower in 2013 compared to 2007. So this could lead to a smaller balance of payment surplus if we had an original position of surplus, or we could actually see a worsening of the balance of payment deficit if we had an original position that was in a deficit. Right, so overall, you make a conclusion. Alright, has it worsened or has it improved based on whatever you have seen so far? Alright, so 1 mark each. So we were looking for 3 indicators and then 1 conclusion. Alright, that's how the marks are awarded. Next question, ADAS. So based on extract, okay, what is the long run and short run effect? So short run, you talk about how because of this fall in because of this uncertainty, people choosing to spend less in the future. Spend more. Because of expected fall in price, people choose to spend more in future compared to now, so they choose to cut down on consumption. Investors, your producers, they anticipate this fall in consumption, that's why they also reduce their investment. So C4, I4, AD will actually fall. So this is the short run effect. in the long run, what is this impact? Alright, because of the fall in investment, alright, if we assume that there was positive net investment, your LRAS would actually shift outwards to the right. Alright, down here. But by a slower rate. Alright. Of course, we also accepted it if you talk about how a fall in I leading to a decrease in LRAS. Alright. So depending on what you mention, alright, the marks are given as such. So you tell me what happened to my AD. So C4, 1 mark. I4, 1 mark. Okay. This two resulting C4, I4 resulting in AD4. So that's a total of 2 marks. This is in the short run. Long run, okay, you tell me that I has fallen, but LRAS increased by smaller effect. That's 1 mark. Alright, diagram, 1 mark. Alright, and then the final conclusion, the effect on the real national income in the short run and the real effect on the long run. Alright, that's a total of 6 marks. Alright. Last question, SOL. Okay, please, every time you have a question on SOL, please talk about material and your non-material SOL. Alright, material SOL, we are concerned about the quantity of goods and services. Please always draw this link. Alright, because the evaluation here is extraordinary achievement, but then if we look at the extent of increase is likely to be large since economic growth is likely to be large, so real output likely to have increased by a large extent. That's why we see the large increase in income and purchasing power. Alright, impact on non-material SOL, we see in the extract they talk about all the health issue, alright, all those taking a toll on the non-material welfare. So link and then elaborate upon that. Lastly, your evaluation should talk about how, really, if we look at Chinese government, how willing are they to actually clamp down on improving the non-material SOL. Because the central government is very powerful and strong in implementing its legislation. And if it applies it to reduce the pollution, they can actually do a lot of that. But then all this will come at a cost, because if I were to reduce pollution in many industries, alright, it deters significant investment, which will curb my economic growth. So again, like I said, it's a balance between achieving economic growth as well as managing the welfare of your citizens. Alright, so please read through the answer key, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Alright.